Hello everybody. How are you doing? It is Mia here with Southern Willow Crafting and Chalk with Mia. And I am here to do a fun crafting project with you guys today. I have got a market event tomorrow and I'm doing it with multiple vendors from the boutique, but I thought I would make a few signs to take with me just in case there are some people still shopping out there for their fall and Halloween decor, and I thought I would just invite you guys to my table while I did those projects. So let me get set up, make sure I can see comments this time on my iPad, because last time I couldn't see comments and I went back in afterwards and you guys were being so great and you were commenting with me and talking and I couldn't see them and it was very frustrating. So let me go in here. How is everybody doing? It's Friday, right? It's Friday. Woohoo! We get to head into the weekend, although I have an extremely busy weekend. So I've got the craft event tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. So if you are local to me in Virginia, in the Hampton Roads area, the town of Ivor is putting on a big fall festival, and they will have, I think, bounce houses and over 30 vendors and a lot of fun stuff going on. So if you are local, I would highly recommend that you try to make it out to Ivor, I-V-O-R, tomorrow. I will be out there with my boutique. And let's see how this is going to work with the camera angle. And hopefully I'll be able to see you guys. All right, so we're going to do a small craft first. I've got two different projects here, and one of them I haven't done yet before. Again, I'm going to be your guinea pig, so we're going to float through this together. And if I could get my iPad to work, that would be fantastic. Please say hello if you are here. I see there are 2 people on. There could be more. Sometimes Facebook doesn't always tell us the truth. And, you know, okay. I am going to, so this is our 5x5 box frame. I did this side the other day on a Facebook party that I was doing, and it comes reversible. So I'm going to paint the insert of this one and put the Hey Pumpkin in here so they can have it for Halloween or fall. And then, hi Deb, how are you? And then for Christmas. So if you guys feel so inclined, please sprinkle the love. I am trying to figure out how to do that myself. Maybe if I could just go to regular Facebook. Good Lord. Why does technology have to be so hard sometimes? And I'm a pretty tech nerd, so I enjoy technology. Okay, so let me... You know what's weird is they don't allow you to, it seems like, to share anymore. Or, oh, sprinkle, not, I didn't say the word. I didn't say the word. I didn't. I don't know how to do that outside of my business page. That is so weird. I can see it on my business page, but it's not allowing me to do it, which is weird. Okay, maybe if I go in the feed. Oh, view as Facebook feed. Isn't this so strange? You guys, hi Denise, how are you? Oh, yay! I'm doing a couple of different projects here today. If I could, oh, here we go. If I could get my iPad to work with me, because it just is being a little sneaky. All right, so this way. Okay, now I can see comments. Okay, all right, so I did this one the other day on a Facebook party, Be Merry, but our 5x5 frames are reversible, and it comes with a white side. So it comes with this side already painted white, and then a natural side so that you can do whatever you wanted. I guess you could paint the white as well, but I am going to paint this side. So and one thing that you guys can do, I don't tend to do it, but I know a lot of designers do. You can actually take our paste, add some water to it, and use it as like a paint and paint the backgrounds of these, which is awesome, but I tend to use acrylic paints. I don't know why. That's just the habit I've gotten into. And so that's what I'm doing. But I'm going to paint this a pretty orange. Let's see. oh no, this one's better. A pretty orange, and then I'm gonna put our Hey Pumpkin in white on top. So they'll have a fall Halloween type side, and then they'll have a Christmas side. I should have checked this paint before I went to go use it, right? Ooh, some of my paints are very old, and I have a feeling this one is oh, there we go. It's a little, let's add some water. My brush is old, my paint is old. Oh my gosh, you guys. Does anybody else fall into that category sometimes where stuff is just not as it needs to be for you when you go crafting? You have to excuse the noise outside if you can hear it. My husband's doing a little bit of yard work. I'm thinking I might end up having to use the first paint I discovered. That one is pretty and it's bright and it's orange. This one's gonna be a little bit darker, but I think it's a little, yeah, it's more fluid. Oh, there we go. Okay. And actually it's quite pretty. So we're gonna go with this one. If you guys can't tell, orange and brown are some of my favorite colors, especially this time of year. I love them. And so I just go cuckoo over the decorations this time of year. I love them. Does anybody else love fall as much as I do? Or autumn, as my nephew says. He's always like, you mean autumn? I'm like, yes. He likes to pick on me sometimes. Okay. And I'm just going to butt this up against the edges. I'm not too concerned if it goes up on the edge a little bit, since you're going to be looking at it straight on. But I certainly don't want, you know, it to go way up on the edge here. But please say hello if you're here. If you feel so inclined, please sprinkle the love. That is just the S-H-A-R-E word in the bottom corner of the live. And while this is drying, we will work on the other project, which is a little bit bigger. It is also a pumpkin project, but I'm going to upcycle the frame and add some, hopefully maybe some burlap on the inside, and then the actual design to give it a very fall-like color. Oops, I did get some up there on the edge. I will have to clean that off later. My lighting is a little odd in the middle of the day. Like I've said before, I'm not used to going live in the middle of the day sometimes, but now that I've been working from home, I can sneak an hour or so in here and do that, which is fun. But of course, you know, the lighting is different in your rooms throughout the days, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. Hopefully that lawnmower out there is not, you guys can't hear it, or it's not causing too much of a distraction. All right, we're almost done with painting the inside of this frame, which I love that they came out with this product. I mean, and we've got them in 5x7, 5x5, another long one, long and narrow, like a rectangle shape. We have them in a couple of different sizes, and they are fantastic. I love them. You guys know I love twofers. I love it when you can get two designs into one project. When I used to sew, I did that. I would make reversible dresses for little girls. Hi, Linda, because, you know, kids are messy and they might drop some ice cream on themselves, and this way you can take the dress, whoop, flip it out, and then just keep going. So I love reversible items. I love reversible signs, reversible things. So this is what it looks like painted. Okay, we're gonna let this kind of just air dry by itself for a little bit. If we have to hit it with the blow dryer later, we will. But that's the first stage. So we've got the, Be Merry on one side, and I painted the natural wood color on the inside orange, and we're gonna do white Hey Pumpkin on the inside. All right, so we're gonna set that aside. Let me get my white paste. Or actually, I don't like sheer white. I'm gonna do the almond, which is like, woo, excuse me. which is like a off-white. And if anybody can tell me how to make it so my camera doesn't go fuzzy on you guys, that would be fantastic. I don't know how to do that. I don't know if I should flip my camera around and use the camera on the other side. I don't know how that works. But anyways, I see on my iPad that it does that, and I apologize. I know that can be annoying. Okay, so you guys know I love thrift store finds, right? And so I found this frame, and it's got a cute little country apples design on the inside, but I don't want to do the inside that way. I want to use this transfer, which is Pick Your Pumpkins, 10 cents per pound. So cute. 1 mile ahead, pumpkin cider, and hay rides. Just super cute, right? Okay, so first things first, what we have to do is get the backing off. So I get my little screwdriver here to pull up these. Please say hello if you're here and sprinkle the love. If you guys want, I have a free crafting group. If you want to join that group, just type the word craft in the comments and you should be invited to that. We have just a little bit of fun in there, and sometimes I'll add, especially after I do a project, I will put a bundle package or maybe a special on the transfer and some paste or something in that group. Give you a little bit of discount off the retail. Okay, so we have cardboard, then we have the poster here, and I might actually, maybe, I don't know what I'll use. Okay, all right, so we've got those. I put those aside. I always try to, if I have my Windex, I always try to clean the glass from the back side, and we can clean it on the outside later, but once we seal this up, we're not gonna wanna have to open it again. So, thank you, Ginger, and if you don't get that message, I'll do it after the live and send you the link. But it's called Southern Willow Crafting. Okay, Linda, you as well. All right. Okay, so, and actually we can take the glass, well, we don't have to take the glass out because we're not going to. Sometimes that's the hardest part. I'm gonna tell you guys, sometimes these little staples and stuff make it really hard. Now this one just fell right out, but sometimes I have it where I am just struggling to get that glass back in or out. I've actually broken a piece of glass doing that once. That is not good. You don't want that to happen. Okay, just to try to get that as clean as possible. So this is my thought, you guys. I wanted, and sometimes these come with, gosh, what is the name of it? Like a frame, you know what I mean? The white insert frames, what's the name of it? I can't remember. But anyways, sometimes they come with that in there, and I can use that to help with the border or whatever. But in this case, it didn't. And what I want to do, and this is what's going to be hard, is trying to get clean, crisp corners, is I want to put a piece of burlap back here and then put the design on some canvas paper sitting in the middle, because I like that burlappy insert. So we're going to do that. But first things first, we need to upcycle our frame. We need to make it shabby chic ready, because you guys know I still like the farmhouse design. I like that shabby chic, and this already has it a little bit. You can see where it looks very roughed up, but I don't want the green as the background. I want cream as the background. I just think it's nice because oftentimes then if they don't want the pumpkin design anymore, they can take that out and insert something else, and the cream is just a nice neutral color to do that. So the first things first is I sand down my surface just slightly. That way it'll give it some type of grit for the paint to stick to. Just blow drying off all the extra dust. Okay. Now I could prime this if I wanted to, but I don't want to. In fact, I'm okay sometimes if, I'm just looking for my paints here, if some of that dark comes through, because I am going to rough it up a little bit. I'm going to take some sandpaper to it afterwards to give it the same look, but with the white background. So I'm just grabbing, now you can use acrylic paints. You can actually even use chalk Couture paints. You can use a slew of different things. I prefer, because my boutique sells it and I love it, is the Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral Paint. For a couple of different reasons. One, it is a chalk paint, so it's going to dry quickly. It has a nice even coat, and it doesn't take a lot of prep work to use it. So personally, I just like the chalk mineral paint, but that's just me. But again, you can use anything. So I'm just looking for a paintbrush here. Now, whenever you're working with paints, you always want to wet the tip of your brush just slightly, not a lot, just add a little bit so that paint's going to stick to the wetness of the brush and not seep into the bristles so much. So I am using the color Fluff, which is very close to white, but not a bright white. It is a slightly off-white. Looking at it, you may not be able to tell unless you put the two side by side. I will tell you that the Fluff and the white, if you saw it on its own, the Fluff, you would think, oh, that's white. It's not. If you lay it up against cotton white paint or something like that, it's going to have just a slight less bright than those are. Normally I have a cardboard sitting, let me go get my cardboard, sitting underneath me so that I can, I don't mind painting my table, to be honest with you. I've had this table for 3 years, crafting on it, and I haven't ruined it yet, but always nice to be safe than sorry. Okay. This way I can really get in there. And we do this first so that it can be drying while we're doing the inside of the project, okay? But again, it's chalk mineral paint, so it's gonna dry fairly quickly. I'm just gonna get this inside lip. How is everybody doing today? Yes, matting. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you, thank you. The matting on the inside. I don't know, sometimes when I go live, it's like somebody takes that portion of my brain that knows those things and just deletes them. It's kind of like when you guys, I know I've mentioned this before and y'all go, Mia, you say this all the time, but if you guys ever watch like cooking shows or something that's a contest, right? Like even like game shows and stuff. And you're like, it's what, and you're like screaming at the TV, like, it's so-and-so, you know, why don't you know this? It's so simple, right? I now understand what those people are going through, because it's something about when that camera turns on, your brain turns off. I don't know. Or maybe it's I'm trying to look at comments, craft, and think about my next step all at the same time. That's why I say if you're ever watching somebody who's doing a live craft, be generous. Give them a little bit of grace. We got a lot going on in our heads. But I love doing this. So this is one of my favorite things to do, is to find old discarded frames or any type of thrift store item really, and upcycle it, give it back some life. You know, somebody discarded it because they didn't need it anymore, or they didn't see a use for it. And, you know, if you just add a little bit of creativity and imagination to it, there's so much goodness sitting in those thrift stores. Okay, guys, so we're going to, ooh, there's some blue coming through somewhere. Where did I pick up blue? There must have been something on this frame somewhere. That is weird. All right, so I'm just gonna go around and do the edges. We're gonna let this dry, and then I'll do one more coat. We're gonna hit it with the blow dryer. Again, that's one reason why I love the chalk paint, is it's going to dry fairly quickly. Any questions from anybody? I can try to answer. Like I said, I'm a crafter. I'm not really a painter or anything like that, but I have done a fair number of crafts in my day. And I can try to answer. And if not, I can promise you there's somebody on this live who can. Hi, Crystal. Oh, yay, I'm so glad. Thank you for joining. I love crafting. So if you're just joining in, Crystal, I I'm going to do 2 projects today. I prepped one, and I'll show it to you here in a second. This one is just a frame I bought at a thrift store. It had kind of a country style insert picture on it. I took that out, and now I am painting the frame with Dixie Belle chalk mineral paint, although you can use acrylic paints. You can use our chalk Couture paint, our paste, and add some water to it, make it a paint consistency. You can, use a bunch of different things. I was saying I like the chalk mineral paints because, one, it dries fairly quickly because of that chalk. It's got a nice even coat to it, so I don't have to usually do, sometimes I only have to do 1 coat, to be honest. And in this one coat would probably be good, but I'm going to do a light second coat to it. And it just has a nice smooth finish to it. And so I like it. I like to use the chalk mineral paints. All right, one other side. And then we're good. If I could keep myself, one day I will learn. So here's a tip for you guys. Do the sides first. Do the sides first and work your way in. Because you're going to be grabbing it to move it and tilt it. And if you can grab the inside, that's great to tilt it. But sometimes when you go inside out, you're going to get your fingers all in it. I guess it's going to happen at one point or another, but okay. All right, so, and I can kind of see most of this top layer is pretty dry already. I'm going to hit it with the blow dryer just to add a little bit of extra dry to it. Hold on, I'm trying to get my camera. You guys can see what I'm doing, sorry. Let's add a really quick second layer to the top, and then we're going to scuff it up a little bit because, like I said, so for those of us just joining, I usually scuff it up a little bit before I get started, so that way it gives the paint a little bit of a gritty surface to hold on to. You don't have to do a ton of prep work, but I do recommend just kind of scuffing it up a little bit, and then because I want it to be kind of a farmhouse shabby chic look, I am going to add a little bit of sanding to the top of this. And that's going to pull some of that green through, some of the brown that was underneath that they had already done, which I'm okay with. I like the variety of those colors. Because I like the farmhouse shabby chic look still. I know some people are trending out of it, although in my area it's still pretty popular, but I know depending on where you live, it may not be as popular. I think I was reading trending magazines and different things that pick the color of the year and all those things, and they were saying that in this part of the country, I'm in Virginia, that boho is in. And I like boho. You know, I like, you know, as a crafter, I like a lot of different styles, but this is kind of my go-to. I think it fits a lot of decor, different things that, you know, you can put a shabby chic frame up in almost any place, especially with the white, and it's going to fit in. Okay, so now I have this pretty clean and colored and painted white. I am gonna let this sit on its own and completely dry, and if we have to hit it with a blow dryer later, we will, just to help get it dry, and then we're gonna scuff it up. I wanna make sure it's as dry as it can be before we scuff it up. So this is actually, I'll show you guys. So this is this was a thrift store upcycle. So it was this wood to start with. I painted this one with, I can't remember the name of, I think it was dried sage maybe. But you can see I then roughed it up, right? All over in different places. And I painted this insert black and put the transfer on top. A lot of fun. That was a fun one. So this was the first project we did. I did this one a while ago. We have these 5x5 reversible frames. One side comes with a white background and the other side comes with the natural tone like this, but I have painted it orange because we're gonna add a pumpkin sign to it. So we're gonna add this sign in white to the back side. So that way somebody can have a fall side and a Christmas side. And so they get a twofer out of it. Hi Denise, welcome, welcome. Okay guys, so I'm gonna put this on the floor beside me. Hopefully I won't mess that up too much. Okay, so I kind of measured out. Now this picture frame I'm not gonna do anything to. It just happens to be almost the exact size, a little bit smaller than this. And because I want to add the burlap and then a canvas insert, I want to make sure that I've got nice, clean, crisp lines. And so I'm going to use this as a template to cut my canvas. So I have different ways of getting canvas. This is one of them, and I think this will work. Actually, I won't have to do much cutting. So I buy canvas two different ways, and I can put links to it in the live. I get them from Amazon, but canvas pads, 9x12, and they are just sheets of canvas, and they're very flexible. One comes with a linen side, one comes with a primed painted side, or I buy them by the rolls, depending on how big I need it. And I love this because now I can quickly, I don't have to rely on what comes inside of the paintings that I find or the frames that I find. I can just take them from here. All right, so now I have to decide if I want to use the linen side or the bright white side. All right, let's see here. And, sorry guys. Okay, so this is the burlap I'm gonna use. Sorry guys, I got a call. That's a white frame with the burlap and then a whiter insert. It's not bright white, but it's close. Sorry guys. All right, okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I might, because I was thinking it's going to be easier to cut the paper than it is the burlap, because the burlap is a little edgy and what have you. So let's get this out. And maybe I can actually just use the transfer as my template since it's so close. Duh, why didn't I think of that? Hello. All right, looks like I lost some of you guys. I'm so sorry. I got a call earlier and I don't know who that was, but they're gonna have to wait. Sorry guys. Okay, so if I do this, and I'm gonna take a pencil and mark it so that I can cut. I mean, it's pretty close, but I wanna have as much of that burlap as possible. And then I'm going to take my scissors and cut right down that line. We're gonna see if this works, you guys. Like I said, many times I am your guinea pig. So I'm trying something. Now I've done burlap backgrounds, but a lot of times I have a mat or something that helps me with those clean, crisp lines on the inside. So, you know, many times, like I say, I am your guinea pig. I will try it live and you guys can learn from it. And then, hey, Essence, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. And so I will try it and then you guys can learn from me and, you know, we'll go from there. All right, so I'm using the white side. All right, so these are our Couture transfers. I am gonna go fairly simple with this. I am going to do the wording, pick your own, and the bottom in black, and the pumpkins in orange. And this will come through with the white, the word pumpkins, I think. Yeah, because that's not the screen mesh. So first things first, because this is kind of a cream background, I don't mind, I'm gonna add a little bit of surface wax to it. Oh my gosh, Essence, you were gonna have to send me pictures. That is so cool. You know, I'm cuckoo over babies, so you'll have to send me everything. Okay, so the surface wax we sell, what that does is when you put it down on you're really gonna wanna use it on porous surfaces like wood. You know, you can use it on chalkboard, that sort of a thing. I still put a light layer on canvas, white canvas paper. If it's a colored canvas paper, then you're gonna get a little bit of ghosting. But I like to put it on here because it's gonna do two things. One, it's gonna allow the paste to stick to the wax versus the canvas. So if I have a mistake, it will clean up a little bit quicker. And if and then it will also help protect the surface and the transfer, because sometimes our transfers are so sticky, some of that green background may get stuck and left on the surface, and you don't want that. So I am just putting a very light layer on this around in different areas as much as possible, and then wiping any excess off. So that's on my website as well, our surface wax. I love it. They used to have it in small containers and I didn't like it so much. I used a different brand and then we came out with this one and it is to die for. I love it. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I can't wait to see it. I love themes. When my son, he's 13 now, so we don't really throw him birthday parties anymore. He'll have sleepovers or whatever. But when he was growing up, oh my goodness, I was cuckoo over themed parties. I mean, everything would be themed out, from the invitations to the activities to a bunch of different stuff. So I just love parties. In fact, I thought about for a while, I was like, I should just open up a little side gig because I enjoyed it so much. But man, they're a lot of work. So I was like, do I want to do this for other people over and over and over again? Maybe not. I don't know. All right, so we pull the transfer off of the backing. I'm going to put it on our fuzzing cloth. Now, if you don't have a fuzzing cloth, you guys, you can use a terry cloth towel. You can use your shirt, your pants. You know, I've been doing this for 3 years, and for the first, I think 2, we didn't have a fuzzing cloth. We would just use whatever we had. And the reason I'm doing this is because they're so sticky. I actually want to add a little bit of fabric and fuzz to the back of it to lessen that sticky, so that this green part of my transfer doesn't get stuck onto my canvas. So the other thing that we want to do when we do this, so I pulled it off the backing. Our backings have a shiny side and a dull side. You always want to put your transfer back on the shiny side. So to keep myself, because I've done it, to keep myself from sticking this on the dull side, because then it'll stick too much and you may ruin your transfer, is I put the name of the transfer on the back. So that way I know I'm not going to stick it on this side, okay? So it's called Pumpkin Patch. So we're doing a princess theme. Oh my gosh. That's just gonna be so cute. I have a little boy. I don't have a little girl, but when I sewed and I was making stuff, I used to make mostly little girls. I would make little boy shorts and stuff like that, but mostly little girl clothes. And they'd be like, oh, you must have daughters. And I'm like, no, I think I'm just living vicariously through my sewing. So yeah, especially little baby girls. Not sure I want teenage girls, but the little babies and toddlers are so cute. Okay, so because we cut this to size, I'm just gonna lay this out so that it is pretty darn close to being exact. I'm sure my hand wasn't completely steady going up the side. All right, and when you lay this down, now this has a lot of screen mesh area, okay? So you want to make sure you are getting any air bubbles out of this design. That is the genius behind our transfers versus store-bought stencils. So I don't know if I'm ready for the teenagers. Oh, yeah, I'm here for you, girl. You can, when you get there, just message me and talk to me. I'll help you as much as I can. Not that I have much advice, or experience, I should say. Okay, so you're gonna get all the air bubbles out, because this is the cool thing, and I pulled this up a little bit so you guys can see. So ours has a screen mesh to it. I can't push my thumb through the transfer. That's why we call them transfers and not stencils. With stencils, if you've ever worked with them before, you know that you have to lay them down pretty well and tape them and make sure that you don't get too close to the edge, because it'll seep under and you get a little bit of bleeding. With some stencils are better than others. But with ours, that's one of the genius things, is because they're sticky, it's going to stick to the back, and it puts a nice adherence to the surface, and so you have less bleeding. Now this has a ton of, screen mesh area. So, all right, so I'm gonna be using orange peel for that, and just traditional black for the lettering, which is black velvet. And I'm gonna do the peel and go method, meaning because it's got chalk in it, it's gonna wanna dry on us. So as I finish a section, I'm gonna pull it up, let the paste go through, let it dry, lay it back down, and move on. That's just the best way when you have a lot of surface area and you're not sure how long it's gonna take you. So with ours, you do have to be somewhat quick. Not paranoid quick, but because of that chalk, it's going to want to start to dry as soon as you lay it down. So, all right, so I'm just mixing up the black paste here. Oh, I'm going to leave that. I always end up throwing things I have a container of water sitting next to me, and I end up throwing things in there, and then I'm like, no, I need that back. And yeah, so I'm trying to learn. Don't throw things in the water immediately. Just wait a moment. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody joining. If you feel so inclined and you think you know somebody who would enjoy this project, then I would appreciate you sprinkling the love. Sprinkling is just the S-H-A-R-E word in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm just getting some squeegees. So we sell these squeegees, which helps. So we take the paste, and to be honest, I don't care how much paste I get to start, because we're going to take all the excess and put it right back in the container. That's one thing that I love about our product, is it doesn't take a whole lot. And with this, I'm trying to hold it down a little bit, because when there is a lot of screen mesh area, it can start to lift a little bit. So I'm just trying to be cautious and hold it down. It's not a disaster if it lifts by any means, but it certainly lends itself to bleeding if it lifts too much or there's an air bubble. Okay, so I've got that on there. We put it on, and then we bulldoze all the excess paste off, and then we lift. Look, now, I'm gonna tell you guys, it looks like it's got a pickled look to it. Oops, sorry. See where it looks like it's missing in some of the words? That is intentional. So that's part of the design, okay? So don't freak out if you guys see that. Just look at your design and look and see if there's little blotches inside the letters. And if there are, then that's the way it's supposed to look, okay? So we're gonna give this a second to dry, and then we will move on to the pumpkin. I'm trying to make this so you guys can see it. It only takes a little bit to dry. We can also hit it with a blow dryer, but I think it's a little wet. Let's put it in the blow dryer just in case. But usually within like a minute or two, it is dry and it's not going to smear. That's the great thing about our pastes is that they're water soluble. So they won't, once it dries, it's not going to be removed from the surface unless you add water or some type of liquid, and then it's going to smear or smudge or get removed. So the great thing is we say, you know, you change your calendar every month, why not your decor? So if you have a chalkboard or something like that, then these are great because then you just clean the chalkboard and put up a new design. With this canvas paper, I can't really clean it and do a new design immediately, or on this because it's gonna have some of the residue because it's a porous surface. But in general, that is the cool thing about chalk paste. We also have inks. And the inks mean that you can do t-shirts, hats, shoes, any type of fabric, tote bags, pillows, a bunch of different things. So we are just adding this, and I'm going to add a big old blob of it so it'll go really far. I got very close to those letters. If you feel like that might happen, you can always put painter's tape over areas that you're scared you might go into that you shouldn't, to help block that space. Usually I'm pretty good, but man, I got a little free-handed there for a second. I was getting excited. Okay, so I've got all of this on here. Now remember, what you see on top, you're gonna see on the bottom when you pull it up. So see how I have a few streaks in there? I'm going to want to pull those out as much as I can and get as much of that excess paste off of the top. Sorry, my hand is probably covering. I'm trying to hold it down, counterbalance my weight I'm pushing on this. Okay. So I've pretty much pulled out most of those streaks that are in the screen mesh area. And I'm gonna lift. Look, you guys, is that not amazing? Do you love it? Write the word pumpkins if you guys love what you see. I am loving it myself. All right, let me dry this and we can lay it down and finish that bottom section. Whoops. You guys love it? Oh, thanks, Essence. Just making sure I make it dry. And then I'll show you guys how to clean the transfer. Super easy. Because our transfers can be used, like, corporate says 8 to 10 times. But I'm going to tell you, there are many people who have used them more, as long as you take care of them. Some transfers will last a little bit longer than others, depending on how much screen mesh is in them. But that's typically the typical usage is 8 to 10. So I'm going to lay this down so it's pretty stinking close. It doesn't have to be perfect, but pretty close. Okay. And then I'm going to finish up this wording on the bottom. Oh, I just smudged a little bit of orange across there. Hopefully that won't be bad. Trying not to get into that pumpkin area. Again, I could have laid painter's tape down if I didn't want to potentially go into that space. But I think I'm okay. But I do want to make sure I cover all of the screen mesh area. Again, we're going to pull all that excess off. Put it back in the container. Okay, I think I'm good. Oh my goodness, you guys. All right, I'm just going to lay this down over here for a second, and I'm going to show this to you guys. It looks so good. I'm so excited. Look it. Is that not awesome? I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so we're gonna lay this off to the side for a second. I'm gonna show you guys how to clean a transfer, and yes, I'm gonna clean it right on my table, okay? Because there's nothing toxic in these pastes, and there's nothing that will ruin my table. All right, so I'm throwing all those little squeegees and pastes into my water container because of course those are reusable, and I can do that. All right, so 2 ways that you can clean them. If you don't like disinfectant wipes, if you're just don't like the chemicals in them or whatever, you can just use plain water and a paper towel. If you are okay with disinfectant wipes, you can use those to clean it. Either way, I use disinfectant wipes most of the time, but I just want to show you guys how to clean this. Now, the dark pigmented pastes like black, navy, red are going to leave a little bit of a what we call ghosting on the transfer. And I'm going to show you, one, it does not matter as long as it's not in the screen mesh area. We're going to do both sides here. But if you don't like it, we do have a tool that helps, which is similar to a magic eraser. I don't know if a magic eraser would work, like one that you just buy from the grocery store. I imagine it would. I've just never tried it because our board erasers are reasonably priced and they work really well. So this is one of our board erasers. Just put some water on it. Mine's a little dirty because I've used it. And then just wipe it over the area, and it's gonna get, you guys won't be able to see it because it's not at the angle, but I've already gotten most of that excess paste off. I could see it. It had an orange tint to it, especially over the pumpkin area, and now it's gone. It's just clean mesh area. And again, the other side. Now I'm gonna leave this upside down on my table to air dry, and then I'll put it back on the, I was reading your comment, pumpkins, back on the backing sheet later for storage. And then you're good to go to use it again. Super easy, right? All right, so let me make some space here. Oh, all right, so let's go back to our first project and finish that up. So I did get a little zealous here with the paint. I wonder if my board eraser would work on getting that paste off the corner here. No, because that's acrylic paint, and it's I got a little bit on the edge, but you can't see it, straight on, so I'm okay. All right, so here's that. It's dry. So because it is a wood surface, I'm going to add some surface wax to it. All right. Make sure I'm not missing any comments. If you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I will do my best to answer. All right, so I've waxed the surface. It's just kind of like Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off. You put a little bit on, you buff a little bit of it out. You don't need a whole lot. A little bit goes a long way. And my chair is so funny. Do you guys ever have this where you have these chairs and eventually over time they just slowly start to sink? Yeah, talk about giving you a complex. It's like, maybe I don't need to eat those extra cookies. But mine's been doing that, and it's like, oh no. All right, so this is the transfer's slightly bigger than the frame, but that's okay. Oh, of course I slid it down because it fits nicely on the inside. Okay, so we're gonna put this in here, and again, I'm going to use a squeegee and try to remove any air bubbles that I might, oh, I just created a bunch of air bubbles because I've got this leaning over the edges. So I'm trying to push this as much into the corners as I can to create a seal. Okay, And we're going to use almond because I don't, oh, good morning, Tarina. So Tarina's in California. That's why she said morning. This is one time when I don't mind living on the East Coast as much because I can message my West Coast friends and they wake up to all these messages and I've been up for at least 3 hours. And then they're like, oh. And then they get all my messages. Most of the time, Tarina. All right, so I kind of like the off color. Again, it's not a pure white. It's almost like a custard color or a creamy white, let's say. And I'm just doing it all in one color. I like simple, pretty designs. Every now and then you will see me go crazy with color and add a bunch in there. But for the most time, I am pretty plain Jane, as my husband calls me, because I just think to me, it's kind of classic and goes with a lot of different decor. But every now and then it does call for a little spunky color. Just depends. Kind of like my shirt. My husband was calling me Freddy Krueger this morning. And I was like, hey, it is fall. All of the orange and the browns and the maroons and all that is coming out. I am so excited about this time of year. One of my favorites. Okay, so again, I pull all the excess off and put it back in my container. And I'm going to lift. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, guys, like I said, 3 years in doing this and I still get just as excited. But look, is that not adorable? So we have that on one side, this on the other. Perfect for reversible times of year. So that's done. I mean, what did that take me? Like less than 5 minutes? Less than 5 minutes. All right, so let me clean this up and then we're gonna start to assemble our frame for our pumpkin project here. Whoopsie. All right, again, I try to close up my containers when I'm shortly after using them because they do have chalk in them and I don't want the air drying them out. All right, let's clean this transfer really quick and then we'll be good to go. With our new transfers, they request that you don't have them sitting in water. I used to do that. I'd throw it in the water container and then clean them at the end, but something about the new formula, so they just say, just let them sit and then, spray a little water on them and clean them shortly after using them. But don't let them sit in water because it'll pull that sticky off the back. It might cause the issue of being able to reuse it. Okay, so we're going to set that over there to let that, and I'm going to write, hey, pumpkin, so I don't put it on the wrong side, right? We learned that a second ago, right? Is that the right? Yeah, okay. Hey, pumpkin. Pumpkin. Is there a P? Yes, pumpkin. Phonics, I'm telling you, it saves me every day. Oh, thanks, Tarina. Oh my gosh, thank you. I know, right? Very fall-like. It's okay if I look like Freddy Krueger. I'm okay with that. Although I was putting on my makeup, I'll have to tell you guys, it's so funny. I think I got it off though. I was putting on my makeup and I was squirting my foundation and a little of it squirted on my shirt somewhere. And my husband happened to be in the bathroom with him and I was like, no! Do you guys ever do that when you find somewhere you're so excited to wear that day? And I'm not girly usually. Usually I'm like, whatever, a t-shirt, sweatpants, whatever. And I was like, no. And so I was trying to clean it up as much as I could, but he was already laughing at me because I had our Alexa playing 80s music and Thriller came on and I was dancing, putting on makeup, and he was like, oh my God. He was like, what has gotten in you today? It's like nothing. Just jamming out, getting ready for the day. All right, so this is nice and dry. I am going to find my sandpaper. Oh, here it is. Okay, so a little trick if you want to kind of make something look old and used, especially your thrift store finds, just get some sandpaper. This is 120 grit. And just oh, there's that blue. There was a piece of blue paint or something. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. I don't know where that came from, but randomly pick some areas. And again, try to be random with it, because as we know, things are not, when they're roughed up, it's not like it was thought about, right? There was no rhyme or reason or sequence to how the roughing up happened. So I just always take it and just drag it. And where it starts to pick up some of the undercolor, I'll then push a little harder in that space. And you choose how much of it you want to have exposed. Totally up to you. I usually just choose a couple areas and then we'll step back and take a look at it and see if it needs a little balancing somewhere. Okay, let me hit this with the blow dryer and I'm going to show it to you guys. Some of that sawdust off. And I'll show you the blue. That is so weird that a blue drop of something, I don't know how I'm going to clean that up. But anyway, so you guys can see that blue spot. So you guys can see, spatial skills, see where I roughed it up a little bit? Yes, I vacuum my floor a lot. All right, so I think I'm okay with it because I just want just a little bit. Okay, let me see if I can clean up this blue. I think I'm gonna have to like scrape it off. It is weird. I never saw that blue. I'm kind of scraping off where the blue, majority of the blue is, and I'll add a little bit of that paint back. That is so strange. So check your paintbrushes before you use them. Maybe it was on my paintbrush. There we go. That's better. And I'm going to add. Okay. All right. I'm going to scuff up. I just see a couple of areas that could use a little bit more love. That's what we'll call it. Love. Love. It's Friday. That's right. It's Friday. Okay, so we have our frame. We have our artwork that's going to go in here, right? So I want to build backwards. So I'm going to flip the, let me dry this section a little bit so we don't then cause more issues. And what's awesome is it looks like this may have been a gold frame that somebody painted the green in the scruff up. And because when I scuff it, there's some gold coming through, which is kind of nice. That's one of those fun surprises that you don't always realize you'll get. All right, another trick. Always figure out where your hanger is. Not that you can't move it, but why move it if you don't have to? So if you can locate your hanger, I would suggest doing so and working that way so you know where the top is versus the bottom. All right, because I've been throwing sawdust around, I'm going to clean this one more time. Or sawdust, but you know, wood scraps. We can always clean the outside later. Okay, so now I want to take my burlap. Oh, and this is just from a fabric roll. I think I got it at Joann's or something. And is that going to be big enough? It might be big enough for this area. Okay, let's do this area because I know for certain, right? Now, one thing I can do is that piece that we pulled out earlier can be my template for cutting, oops, my burlap. So I know I'm going to use this middle section. Can you guys tell? I use this quite a bit for different things. I love it. Now, what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to turn on my heat press because I'm going to iron out that crease. I do have a heat press. You can use a regular iron too. I'm cutting it on with my toes. If you guys know me, you know that's not uncommon. All right, so this is what was in the picture frame. So I'm gonna use this to draw out my area. I think I can't really see that. Okay, so we're just going to do this. All right, people. This is what we're doing. Again, like I said, I have not done this exact project before, so we are learning together. I've put burlap in the back, but it's always done in different ways depending on if you have matting or if you don't. I'm cutting it slightly larger than the template because even if it goes up into the edges of the frame, it's not going to hurt anything. So you can go slightly larger. I'm so excited to see how this turns out. Because I'm going slightly larger, I'm not worried if it's off a little bit. Okay, and then we'll cut this. And I don't know if burlap can be ironed. I'm going to assume it can be. If it can create a crease, you can remove the crease. Let's go with that, okay? And if not, then you'll just have to pull it really taut inside of the frame, and then that way you get a nice flat finish to it. Okay, so my heat press is heating up. Anybody have any questions so far? Thank you so much for joining in. I don't know if you guys are sharing or not, but I appreciate it. Okay, burlap also causes a mess. Okay. Let's grab my heat press. And yes, I'm doing this right on my table. I know there's a mat I can use. You guys can all yell at me later. I'm just trying to get as much of that crease out as I can. I put it up to like 350 just because I knew I wasn't going to wait that long, but it would start to increase. All right, so cut that off. All right, so now we're going to move our frame back over. Okay, so we've got to center our picture. Okay, this is where you folks with OCD will thrive. Okay, so let me get and I'm gonna see we're a shade under 2 inches there. And okay, so that's good. Oops. Okay, I think we're good. Now, if I wanted to help, I've got these little glue dots. I hesitate to use them because they're gonna show through. So hold on, let's see if this will work. I was gonna say, maybe if I put it on the back and that will help the burlap adhere to it. All right, so I'm gonna add a couple of glue dots. Maybe I won't do it that way, I'll peel them off. Glue dots are uber sticky. Oh, not sure if this is a good choice or not, people. Again, I'm your guinea pig. I'm your guinea pig. Oh! Learn from me. All right, that way that doesn't happen again. And we're gonna do this. If I did it on the other side and attached this little canvas paper, then you're gonna see the glue dot on the glass, and I don't want that to happen. I don't want to detract from the beautifulness of this sign, right? Of this artwork. All right, now we're going to lay our burlap, and we're gonna stick it. I guess that crease wouldn't have mattered really because it's kind of in the middle. Where did our glass go? What did I do with the glass? Oh, it's in there. Duh. I need the back. All right, so a lot of times I'll use what was in there as just an extra buffer, right? A little extra buffer. And then I get the cardboard. And if they don't have if you don't come with cardboard, oftentimes I'll cut cardboard from a shipping box I got or whatever. And then if I'm feeling extra fancy, a lot of times I will take craft paper and then finish the back side like an artist would with craft paper on the back. Okay, so before I seal this baby in and push all these little things down, we're gonna flip it over. Make sure it looks good. Okay, you guys. All right, moment of silence. Cross your fingers. Okay, are you guys ready? Is it gonna be everything that was in my head? Probably not. Okay. Oh, I love it. All right, you guys, sorry. I had to peek before I showed you guys. What do you think? What do you think? Again, write the word pumpkins if you are loving it. A little bit more space at the top than on the bottom. Maybe we can fix that a little bit. But in general, I am loving this concept. Oh, maybe not. I don't know if I can get this out. I don't know. It might have to live, you guys. I'm thinking it's going to have to live the way that it is. I'm okay with it. It's not that much of a difference. We're sticking with it because this bad boy is stuck in here, and if I pull it out, that's when bad things happen. Just let it be, Mia. Just let it be. All right, so we're going to push these little suckers down, and this will be ready for my market tomorrow so I can sell this. That's also the other thing I love about Chalk Couture is I can sell the products that I make. My finished goods. We call them finished goods. All right, so I'm going to take some scissors and cut this excess so that it's not too much in the way when we're hanging it. Like I said, I don't mind if it's overflowed a little bit. And then the other thing that you guys can do, which artists do, my mother's an artist, so I know, but they'll take just rolled craft paper and put it over the back side, and so it gives it kind of a nice clean finish all the way around. Sorry, I've got the hiccups today. I don't know what my problem is. All of these little, all right, I'm gonna show this to you guys again. Let me actually move this down here for a second and clean up my workspace. I'm telling you that burlappy fabric has little tiny hairs that come off. I don't know if you guys can see them. They love to float in different spaces. Okay. All right, guys. So project number 1, Hey Pumpkin, be merry, dual-sided. This is our 5x5 frame. And our second project was upcycling a thrift store frame, adding some burlap and a little design here, and you're good to go. Oh, thanks, Kimberly. I appreciate it. All right, guys, I appreciate you joining me today for this morning. If you're catching the replay, please say hello. If you guys want to be notified when I go live, text the word craft to this phone number, 757-505-0303, and I will send you out a message when I go live, usually just a couple minutes before. You can always catch the replays on my page. Thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer. In the meantime, have fun chalking and crafting. All right, everybody. Bye-bye.